On News Hour tonight, Northern lawyers to sue federal government as Sultan demands justice for Kaduna bombing victims. 3 dead, 11 injured as mining pit collapses in Zamfara. As energy prices surge, petrol to gas conversion gain popularity. United Nations warn half of Gazans starving. Hello there, good evening and welcome to the News Hour. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Abdullahi Ahmed. We begin in Kaduna as the Sultan of Sokoto, Muhammad Saad Abubakar III, is demanding justice for victims of the military airstrikes that killed over 100 residents of Tudumbiri village of Igabi local government area in southern Kaduna. The Sultan made the call during a condolence visit to the state. Bello Musa has more.
Reflecting on the incident that happened at Tudumbiri in Igabi local government area of Kaduna State, where dozens of people lost their lives, the Sultan urged the people to remain calm, assuring that they will ensure justice is done to victims of the attack.
But the point here is we must all know that this is the will of Almighty Allah, but also have to ensure justice is done to avert future occurrences. We will pressure the government of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to ensure that a very detailed and thorough investigation has been carried out to ascertain exactly what happened that Sunday, so that at least people will have rest of mind that knowing what really happened.
In his response, the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, said the armed forces will remain focused in their tasks of ensuring peace in the country.
And also mention on the issue that happened at Tudumbiri. It is highly regrettable. It is unfortunate. It is an event that should never have happened. Our task as members of the armed forces is to bring peace, is to protect the innocent, so that Nigerians can enjoy their country. But this has happened, and we will make sure that we take every necessary step to ensure that it does not happen anywhere again in Nigeria or any other place that we operate in. Every other person has continued to pray, please let us not relent. We will have challenges, but we are one country, we are one people. We should never allow anybody or anything to divide us. Division is not what we stand for. We stand for unity, faith, and justice.
Sultan also pledges to support the Chief of Defense Staff to ensure peace in the country.
And I believe we have been working closely, and I want to assure you we will work much closer with him as Chief of Defense Staff to bring solutions to the numerous problems facing this country. I mean, security solutions. And like the MC said, that we will use him to bring peace to Kaduna. Peace has run away from Kaduna, southern Kaduna, for so many years. I don't know why. Let's sit together, let's find out the problems. Let's all be honest with one another, face the problems squarely as one big family.
Abubakar also admonished the entire Muslim Ummah to refrain from insinuations on the Tudumbiri incident, assuring that they will follow up the matter to logical conclusion. Emir of Zazzau Ahmed Nuba Mali and that of Jama'ah Muhammad Isa Muhammadu appealed to the people to continue to live with one another in peace and harmony. Special prayers were also offered at the Jama'ah Jumma'at Mosque for the repose of the souls of the victims of Kurmimbiri incidents. From Jama'ah, Nikafancha local government area of Kaduna State, Bello Musa reporting for Trust TV News.
In a related development, the National Security Advisor, Malam Nuhri Badu, has visited Tudumbiri in Kaduna State days after the tragic bombing of residents in the area by the Nigerian Army. The visit of the National Security Advisor was to ascertain the facts of the incident as investigations commence to unravel what went wrong. Here's the report.
Accompanied by the State Governor Ubasani, senior security officials, and religious leaders, the NSA reassured the people of government's commitment to rebuilding the affected community.
We all feel this. We are all in sorrow. We are all hurt. But we have to understand, this is our own country. This is something that we have to come together and work, addressing the problem. He made it already very clear that this is one that we have to learn lessons. This is one that will change the direction and the way we do our work. Wait and see.
NSC said it all. He emphasized on how concerned Mr. President is about this unfortunate incident. And NSF also assured all of us here that the President is also very serious about this investigation he has called for. And of course, the NSA also made it clear to all of us that this thing will be done within a time frame.
A delegation of the Nigerian Senate was also in Kaduna on a condolence visit to affected families and people of the state as a whole.
In events like this, we must drop all our sentiments, all our emotions, and try to investigate the core reasons as to why what happened. Not with a view to punishing, but with a view in making sure that this thing just doesn't happen. And those who are found are actually sanctioned. So that at the end of the day, it will be a pointer to those who are selling with protection of lives and property to be very, very steadfast and very cautious.
According to the Northern Solidarity and Peace Initiative Forum, the incident was a disheartening moment in the North, which requires prompt solution.
The rate in which this happened is becoming too alarming and disturbing. Our lives is no longer safe in the hand of those who are expected to protect us. For how long will this ugly incident continue? This remains a question begin for answer. Our demands as a group and concerned citizen are as follows. 1. The federal government, Kaduna State government, and all concerned authorities approach this with topmost sincerity in ensuring the justice is done accordance to the law of the nation. Lastly, the government should ensure in preventing such repeat of this ugly tragedy, as this is becoming a norm in this part of the country.
This after the incident at Tudumbiri, many victims are still receiving treatment in the hospital. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Well, the concerned Northern Forum, formed by lawyers, has vowed to institute legal action against Nigeria's federal government, demanding payment of adequate compensation to victims of the military bombings in Tudumbiri area of Kaduna State. Over 100 villagers were killed by the military strikes while celebrating Maulud in the village. Speaking on behalf of the Lawyers Forum, Nafi Awaka explains that the forum would ensure that families that suffered irreparable loss as a result of the airstrikes are compensated. And Nafi, who spoke while addressing newsmen in Kaduna on Saturday, urges the federal government to make immediate and decisive action to ensure a thorough and independent investigation into the incident. The forum, with over 600 members, extended their deepest condolences to the families who lost their loved ones during the tragic incident. Elsewhere, 3 miners have died while 11 others sustained injuries after a mining pit collapsed in Dankamfani in Anka local government area of Zamfara State. According to an eyewitness, the incident happened on Thursday at around 4 p.m. He says the injured are receiving treatment at Anka General Hospital. Zamfara State is rich in solid minerals, which includes gold, iron ore, limestone, granite, among many others. The federal government, as well as the Zamfara State government, had banned any form of illegal mining activity, ordering security agencies to enforce its implementation. Most of the miners operating in the state are operating without licenses or permission to explore minerals. Well, let's talk to Daily Trust Regional Editor Yusho Ajamu, who is joining us via phone from Zamfara for an update on this development. Yusho, good evening. Thank you most kindly for joining us. What more have we learned about this collapse, and what are the authorities saying?
Well, so far we have not received any statement from the state government. But like you have said, government has banned mining in the state. But unfortunately, the local miners are still conducting their activities, especially in the hard-to-reach areas, because most of these areas where mining are taking place are being controlled by the bandits. So it is very difficult for the security or law enforcement agents to reach the area and enforce the banning order. So that is why maybe the local miners are still doing their businesses. If you can recall, a week or two ago, we have given a report where the bandits abducted 150 people in a village where they placed levy on them because they know they are doing their businesses. I mean, the mining, so they are getting more resources to sell and pay ransom for their relations. So this is the situation because the bandits, they know each and every activity that is taking place in those areas, especially where the mineral resources are available.
What do we know, Isho, about the operations of these miners and the market for it? Because clearly there is a market for the minerals that they're exploring, and that is why they're willing to defy the government orders regarding the ban on illegal mining. What do we know about the operations of those miners in connection with the market they're selling to?
Sincerely speaking, they are not selling the resources within Zamfara state. Right. Some of them are taking them either to Lagos, especially where people can buy and export them outside the country, but they are not selling them in Zamfara. You cannot see where these people are selling these resources openly in the market. They don't.
And very quickly, give us a sense of how remote these locations are, because you did talk about how the security agencies are not able to track so that they can implement the ban. Give us a sense of, for instance, this area where the recent incident happened, Company, I believe, in Anka local government area. Give us a sense of the remoteness of these locations.
Yeah, let's take Anka, for instance, where this incident happened. The last time we do a report on this, we have interviewed a lawmaker from that area. He said he cannot even recall the time when he went to his constituents because of the danger he can face while going there. So the bandits, they know where these resources are. They even chase away most of the villagers that are living around the resources. So they made the area no-going areas. So no one can even dare to go near to where these activities are taking place.
And so do we know, finally, do we know whether the government intends to regularize the activities of these miners anytime soon?
No. Because we cannot say so, because government is serious about these bandits. Because as at now, the state government, we know what the stand of the state government, that they cannot negotiate with the bandits, so they are fighting them. So we cannot say that government is that maybe trying to legalize this mining. They ban it. They stand on their decision.
Okay. You sure?
So the problem is only that.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, the problem is that, like I have said, these areas are being controlled by the bandits, and the fight between government and the bandits is ongoing. Right. We don't know what will happen if the government pay attention to those areas where minings are taking place.
Right. And I suppose until security and stability is guaranteed, that conversation is not going to happen at this time. Yusho Adamu, thank you very much for the update. I appreciate you for joining us on the News Hour.
Thank you.
Moving on now, as Nigeria's energy crisis continues to impact negatively on the livelihood of citizens, a resident of Maiduguri has successfully converted a petrol generator to gas in order to save cost and maximize utility. Trust TV's Beatrice Kurisi caught up with Mukhtar Muhammad to find out more.
Most households and businesses across Nigeria depend on generators that run on petrol and diesel for electricity. But the cost of fuel and the removal of its subsidy is affecting the survival of businesses and has put a strain on household spendings. This has led many into thinking of alternatives to fuel. It is on this basis that Mukhtar Mohammed, a Maiduguri resident, converted a petrol generator to one that uses gas, which many believe is more economical to provide electricity. The young technician switched the original carburetor to a hybrid carburetor and connected it to a refilled gas tank with a hose. He revealed that he was inspired by the cost of fuel.
If you fill like 6 kg, it will take you for at least 36 hours using this 6 kg mechanics. So whenever we find ourselves in this kind of situation, we need to empower youth. So my calling to government here is that they should employ people that know how to do this job to train others, so that this thing it can help even in our urban areas.
Meanwhile, the innovation is already serving some business owners in town. Mohammed Ibn says he spends less now to keep his phone charging business running.
Kuma petrol zamu using yanzu kudin petrol ya riga da ya hau sosai ma yanda ya fi karfin talaka.
The price of petrol has gone up so much that regular Nigerians find it difficult to buy. That's why we switched to this gas alternative. We just wanted to try it, but we observed that there's much difference because we spent 12,400 naira on fuel, but with gas we need only 5,000 naira.
Petrol ya yi tsada sosai, to yanzu da muka samu muka hada wannan abin ya zo ya kawo mana sauki sosai. In petrol ne bare mana petrol da zai mana kwana biyu zai kosin kusan 13,000.
When we connected this to our shop, it made things much easier for us because 13,000 naira worth of fuel will only last 2 days, but a 3 kg gas cylinder will last 3 days.
Maybe even if the price of gas is low, maybe it's because not many people are using it as it is now. But if many people start shifting to the gas, and if the quantity also supplied is not much or something of that sort, it will also skyrocket, and then bureaucracies will enter, and then you will have similar thing which is happening in, because any resource which is a substitute of another resource, whatever has happened with one resource must also happen, or the price has to be modified.
The innovation could be a lifesaver for business people and could also boost Nigeria's economy. Beatrice Kurisi, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
Quite impressive. Now, the current economic climate in Nigeria is forcing many students to abandon their academic pursuits to make ends meet as inflation continues to soar. In this report, Rahima Dokaji tells the story of Aminu Abdurrahman, a passionate student of English education at the Yusuf Maitama Sule University in Kano, who dropped out of school due to financial constraints to shoulder the responsibility of providing for his aged father and siblings.
Aminu's dreams were shattered not due to a lack of passion or potential, but because he couldn't afford to continue his education after the death of his mother, who was his sponsor. Aminu shared his story, shedding light on the struggles faced by countless young people in similar circumstances. According to him, their dreams and ambitions are stifled by circumstances beyond their control.
I would like to get a job, for example, any kind of job. I'm capable to do it, just to be dependent on myself, take care responsibility of my father, my sisters, and I wish to take my education just go further, as I said before. This is some of my goals in my life.
Experts in the field of education, such as Professor Ahmad Muhammad Soni of the Department of Economics, Bayero University, Kano, emphasizing the long-term consequences of interrupted education, stressing the significance of education in national growth, innovation, and competitiveness. He also highlights the challenges faced by interrupted students in finding suitable employment, excavating the issue of underemployment. 900 billion naira has been earmarked for student loan in the 2024 budget, raising the hope of students like Aminu, whose ambition is to acquire university degree no matter the setbacks. Rahima Shehudu Kaji, Trust TV News, Kano.
Elsewhere, patients and their relatives in Jos, the Plateau State capital, are decrying the surge in the price of drugs and other medical supplies in the country, saying the situation is getting worse by the day. Relatives say unless quick action is taken by the Nigerian government to mitigate the situation, the lives of many patients remain at risk. Ado Musa has more.
It has become a common phenomenon to witness a daily increase in the prices of goods and services in Nigeria. This trend has impacted all aspects of life, compelling Nigerians to adapt to the prevailing economic reality in the country. However, the escalating cost of drugs and other medicines in Nigeria has impacted treatment at healthcare centers from primary to tertiary levels, affecting both public and private hospitals. Patients and their relatives are now finding it difficult to cope with these expenses.
Talking about medicine, you can imagine right now, okay, but in Jos, the Harmattan season, I went to go and buy drugs recently. I know how much I bought cold, catarrh and cold medicine. It was way too expensive, more than the amount I used to buy. Things has to change. The government are there taxing people that have companies that are producing the drugs, and we as citizens, we cannot even afford the money because the economy and everything is high.
Yeah, it's really very high because there are some drugs that even in the hospital, most of the drugs you don't get it here. We have to go outside to buy. The drugs that you buy maybe in the hospital, if they were to sell it for you in the hospital, maybe at 3,000. You might go outside, it's 5,000. So how can somebody afford that? Gloves that you are to buy at, let's say, hand gloves, in the hospital sell it for you at 2,600, 2,800. Outside you buy it at 4,000. So what are most of, since we normally buy most of our drugs outside, is really telling on everybody here.
Yes, yeah, it's terrible. It's terrible. People are really suffering. Things are not going well. There is no plans on ground to make things easy for the common man. We're suffering, like we were in the hospital now, and things are not going well. Things are very expensive. We're just praying that things will get better. But things are terrible and very difficult for us.
Sanusi Kabir is a pharmacist at the Nalele pharmacy in Jos. He speaks on the sharp increase in price of drugs in the country.
What we observe, I can say maybe fluctuation in dollar rate is one of the major factors, because maybe every single week we have a different price in dollar and it affects the market. So whenever the dollar increase, the prices increase. And when the dollar comes back, I don't know, nothing happens. And then secondly, I'll go with hike in price of petroleum, the price of PMS, because if there is increase in cost of transportation, definitely it's going to affect the prices of items in the market generally, not necessarily drugs.
Following the price surge, relatives of caregivers and patients say it is now difficult for them to afford the prescribed drugs, a situation that puts their sick loved ones at risk of death. But Dr. Longpab Abdulaziz, a chemical pathologist and lecturer at the Jos University Teaching Hospital, explains the implication of not taking medication as prescribed by the doctor.
You are taking the drug for a particular reason, for a particular medical condition. Now, you are not taking the drugs as prescribed. This prescription is actually based on scientific evidence, and that is what the dosage is what is actually needed to take care of the sickness that is wrong with you. 2, the disease, some drugs, for example, antibiotics, where you're supposed to take for certain durations, when you give patients those drugs, and if they don't take it as prescribed, what will happen is that they will create a window where a bacteria who is supposed to be dead after a certain time will not actually die. The bacteria will now have a window to develop some resistant features, so that when you continue taking the drugs, the drug may not work, or when you take the drug another time, the drug will also not work. Now, another serious implication for not taking your drugs as prescribed is when you have certain diseases like hypertension, asthma, that can give you an emergency state once in a while. Now, if you cease taking your drugs and you go into an emergency, then that risk you have taken can actually lead you to death. And
patients and their relatives are, however, calling on the government to intervene by addressing the high cost of medicines and medical supplies to ensure access to quality healthcare services in the country. Adomusa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Now, the Department of State Services on Saturday says it will soon unveil weapons produced by its personnel. The director of the DSS, Yusuf Bichi, disclosed this at the graduation ceremony of the Executive Intelligence Management Course 16 participants in Abuja. According to the director, among the weapons the service will soon unveil, or rather, among the weapons the service will soon unveil are unmanned aerial vehicles. Bichi also assured Nigerians that the agency will continue to support the National Institute for Security Studies to succeed in its quest to impart knowledge that will enhance security in Nigeria. He charged the participants to utilize the skills that they have acquired to build the country, urging Nigerians to remain patriotic and shun those whom he described as warmongers who want to set Nigeria on fire. You're watching the News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up ahead. Manufacturers forced to shut down operations due to incursion of foreign goods. More on this and many other stories up ahead after the break. Join us again.
It's time to jackpot for more fun. This season, there are loads of exciting content. Enjoy all the drama, intrigue, suspense, and romance in a wide range of telenovela series, Nollywood movies, Bollywood, kiddies program, and introducing our new kiddies channel, Wooing. After 5 years of waiting, the Nigeria Premier Football League is finally back, live and exclusively on Star Times.
Enjoy more this season with our jackpot promo. Recharge 2 months on Classic or Super Bouquet and get 14 days free, or recharge 2 months and get upgraded to a higher bouquet. Wow! Recharge now and jackpot for more fun and stand a chance to win Sundial TV and other fantastic gifts. Offer runs till January 20, 2024. Terms and conditions apply. Star Times. Entertain your family.
A dark trade is thriving here, in the heart of Mararaba, a bustling satellite town that stretches into Nigeria's Federal Capital Territory.
There is one business for town inside Abuja. They do kidney harvesting.
Abbas is one of at least 6 young men from Mararaba that have followed this dangerous path.
One of my friends called me and told me that there is one hospital that they used to sell kidney.
Selling organ is illegal, is unethical. The repercussions are many. One, on the donor himself.
Bai kamata ka kama yaro ko shi ne ya gaya maka yana so. Bai kamata ka dauki yaro ba shawaran iyaye. To yanzu da sun mutu za a yi zubar da gawawakin su kenan.
I don't want me to bury my son. I want them to bury me. But as this thing happened, they looking like just like ordinary picture.
The investigation is yet to be concluded.
The motive for the donation was money. And when they get the money, and the money will not be able to solve their problems, they ended up with regret. Most of them developed psychological issues. Some of them even got into depression.
Welcome to Trust TV, where we document the Nigerian story. Our programming showcases the rich culture and diversity of Nigeria. We strive to amplify the voices that make our nation unique. Our programming is designed to take you on a journey through the different tastes of entertainment in our country. We showcase the best of Nigerian culture, from traditional craft to cutting-edge technology. Our team of expert journalists are dedicated to unveiling the intricacies of our culture and telling the untold stories that binds us all. And let's not forget the food. Nigeria has diverse and flavorful cuisines, some of the favorites to millions across the world. What is Nigeria without its people, their passions and their talent? Trust TV is not just a channel, it's a platform that brings you closer to everything that makes Nigeria great. Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back to the news, and thank you very much for staying with us. Here's a quick reminder of our top stories. Northern lawyers to sue federal government as Sultan demands justice for Kaduna bombing victims. 3 dead, 11 injured as mining pit collapses in Zamfara. Now, Lami Sadiq has emerged the winner of the print category at the 18th Wole Soyinka Award for Investigative Reporting. Lami, who is the group head of Investigation and Media Trust, beamed the searchlight on organ harvesting in the country's capital, Abuja, and was the only winner of the category. But Omolabake Shabogun of This Day newspaper was commended for her work that spotlighted regulatory deficit in the housing industry in Nigeria. There was no overall winner for this year, as organizers of the awards say the winners did not meet up the criteria set for the category. Lami was gifted the sum of 300,000 naira, a plaque certificate, laptop, and an international trip. Meanwhile, Sharon Ejason of the TVC News won the award for the television category on her story on human trafficking, while Folashade Ogunrinde of TV 360 Nigeria was the runner-up in that category.
Well, I just think that we have to try as much as possible to always try for something or what we believe in. I think why I personally have not entered before is because I have not really been paying attention to some of these categories. But this tells you that even if you feel your work is not as you want it to be, it's better to try. So I want to encourage everyone who has done an investigation. You may think it's not all that, but it's good to try because and you may think that the impact is not so much, but other people may look at it and feel, oh, this is a great book, and the impact may be felt far away from where you expect that it will be felt. So it's good that we always keep trying. This is the first time I'm entering for this category, but it just tells you that we need to keep entering, we need to keep trying, and our work will be appreciated.
Well, congratulations to Lami and her team, as well as Media Trust Group. Now, Governor Dick Korada of Katsina State has directed the immediate suspension of a staff of the Ministry of Education in the state for alleged sexual harassment of a female student. This directive was contained in a statement issued by the Director of Press at the Office of the Secretary to the State Government, Abdullahi Aliyar Adwa, who made the statement available to newsmen in Katsina on Friday. According to the statement, the accused was the principal of Government Day Secondary School, Tankari 1, Dandume local government area of Katsina State. The governor directed the Commissioner for Basic and Secondary School Education to investigate the allegation with dispatch, take appropriate action, and report back to the governor. The statement further directed the Commissioner of Police to investigate the allegation of sexual harassment. Now, a private school teacher in Osun State has been arrested for allegedly raping and impregnating his 16-year-old student. The teacher was also accused of failing to, or rather attempting to abort the pregnancy. Hamid Oebade has more on the story.
Akane Sunday, a teacher at Touch Life Premier School, Aga, Ido Osun State, was accused of raping and impregnating the 16-year-old JSS2 student of the school, Anifat. A community leader, Lola Way, said the teacher made attempt to abort the pregnancy for the girl, but he didn't succeed. The matter was reported to the Department of the State Security Service, DSS, through a petition written by the International Federation of Women Lawyers and the state to seek justice for the girl.
And the girl said she was allegedly warned not to tell anybody about the incident after she was raped by the said teacher.
Our teacher, Akoni Sunday, said I should come to his house to collect my French notebook. When I got there, he took me to his room, and I later realized that he was alone at home. I shouted for help, but nobody was there to help me. That was how he removed my clothes and raped me. Anifat lives with me, but I didn't know that she was pregnant because she was menstruating. We eventually discovered when her body changed. We need help because her mother is dead, and I cannot afford to cater for her in this condition.
Trust TV confirmed that the teacher has been arrested by the DSS for interrogation, while the matter is currently being investigated by DSS.
To get the teacher to answer for his crime for raping the girl, and to also take necessary, accept his responsibility as a biological father of the baby, so that the girl and the baby will not suffer. The girl is underage, she needs adequate medical attention, but as we speak, she's yet to receive that.
In Osun State, rape is a serious offense according to the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law. Hamid Oyegbade, Trust TV News, Osogbo.
Such a sad and unfortunate development there. In Bauchi State, a woman, Rhoda Jato, who condemned the alleged killing of Deborah Samuel in Sokoto State, has finally regained her freedom after a 2-year imprisonment for alleged blasphemy in Bauchi State. She was released on bail on Friday and was reunited with her family following an intervention from civil society organizations, family members, and religious bodies. Her bail has been confirmed by her husband, who had refused to make comments to the media regarding the issue and has denied access to the woman. It was gathered that her bail application brought by her lawyer, Joseph Damboi, was heard and granted by Justice Fatima Jibrin of a high court in Bauchi. According to sources, as soon as she was released, Rhoda left Bauchi for Gombe State. Waste management remains a major challenge across Nigerian cities as government fails to provide adequate measures to maintain proper waste disposal, where residents now dispose indiscriminately despite its health implications. Jimmy Azande tells us the story of indiscriminate waste in Makurdi, the Benue State capital.
With heaps of waste at illegal dump sites in some areas of the state capital, environmental activists say many residents are yet to come to terms with the consequences of their actions.
This attitude has been carried out by man, and it has degraded so much of their environment, making and causing water pollution, air pollution, landslide. Yes, when you have an erosion, that can lead to a landslide. Yes, and there are a lot of infections that comes with waste products when they are illegally disposed.
Residents of the state should have waste bins so that waste will be gathered, and government should put in place strategies and places where this waste can be put to, so that they will come and then pack them to where they're supposed to. Because not like plastics, they cannot be dissolved, they cannot easily decay, and so they are very harmful. Therefore, they should be recycled.
Some residents say since the beginning of the present administration, a policy has been directed towards environmental sanitation, but there's still more to be done.
I think it is fair enough to first of all appreciate the current administration for the effort it has put together to make sure that our environment is sanitized. Before now, if you go to places like Burukum, places like Gadovira and other major areas in Makurdi, but with the current administration, we understand that from intervals, machines are sent to assist in the packing out of these refugees to dump them in safe places. I would like to call on the government to turn their attention to household areas where people are settled with their families.
Observers say town planners must take note of the health hazards of refuse dumps, even as residents believe the government has a lot to do to keep Makurdi clean. Jimmy Azande, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
Now, mortar and pestle are a set of simple tools used in the kitchen during food preparation, turning different food products into paste or powder, largely used for kitchen activities, made from hardwood and used mostly in parts of northern Nigeria. This traditional tool is now facing a declining consumption in the market with the advent of modern utensils like blenders. Now in Zaria, the artisans producing this traditional kitchen utensil are gradually phasing out of operation, as Abubakar Sadiq reports.
An 87-year molder of mortar and pestle in Zaria, Alhaji Muhammadu Meturmi, said he has been in the trade for over 50 years and is still producing the item despite old age, which takes him only a day to produce a big-size mortar.
This is almost the 15th year I am into this.
According to him, there are few of them that remain in the production of the traditional mortar, not only in Zaria, but across the northern part of the country as a whole. This, according to him, is a hard-to-endure venture, and the difficulty of the trade has made it unattractive, especially to the youth. Meturmi said in the course of marketing the trade, the business has taken him up to Saudi Arabia.
I also did this business in Hashim Bukar area where I lived in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. I went on Hajj, but instead of going empty-handed, I took 40 motors, checked them in at Kano airport and exported them. I marketed and sold all over there.
Meturmi, whose production base is located by the fence of Queen FM Radio in Tudunwada, Zaria, noted that younger generation no longer takes interest in the trade due to its tedious nature of production. He boasted that the production of mortar and pestle was the only longest existing trade that was purely a male business, stressing that no female has ever engaged in the business for time immemorial.
Holding on to a trade is important, but young people now avoid difficult jobs and prefer stealing chickens in the neighborhood.
Meturmi added that it is not only rare but completely impossible to see women engage in the making of mortar and pestle anywhere in the country. He said mortar is made out of different growing trees.
Na biyu kaɗanya, na uku kawo, na hudu abinda ya kama doka, abinda ya kama kai har zuwa ɗorawa zuwa danya zuwa faru. Kai kuka ne kawai ba za a yi turmi da ita ba saboda yasga gare ta.
Alhaji Muhammad Sani Meturmi also listed some of the tools used for the production of making the mortar.
They can be made from virtually any tree except baobab due to its nature. The measure tool is axe, as you can see. Then these other ones.
From Zaria, I am Abubakar Sadiq Muhammad, Trust TV News.
Well, you're still watching the news hour on Trust TV. We'll be back with more news stories after the break. Join us again.
What NAFDAC is doing is making sure we are safeguarding the health of the nation.
80 million people have been accounted for that have glaucoma worldwide.
The Nutrition Society of Nigeria is laying emphasis on exclusive breastfeeding of our babies.
The incidence of kidney disease in children has also been rising, with an estimated 1 in 10 Nigerian children affected.
And that sometimes those products contain things that could harm you more than you would expect. So you would have long-term damage which could affect your health over time.
Intermittent fasting indeed is beneficial.
All right, welcome back to the news. Thank you very much for staying with us. The Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, Mele Kyari, says there are over 4,800 illegal connections on the company's pipelines nationwide. Kyari, who made the disclosure while appearing before the Nigerian Senate Committee on Appropriations, apologized to the committee for his inability to appear before it as earlier scheduled. The Group Managing Director says, while reacting to the spate of crude oil theft in Nigeria, that between June to November of 2023, the company has paid a total of 406 billion naira into the Federation account. Kyari maintains that the era of subsidy has gone for good, noting that before the end of the year, The Port Harcourt and Warri refineries will be functional, while the Kaduna refinery will be up and running before the end of next year.
There will be total oil demand of up to 100 million barrels per day of oil equivalent in the energy mix. So oil and gas will not vanish. So oil will be bought for different purposes. It will be converted for different chemicals and different materials, but production of oil and gas will continue, but in a very cleaner way. And the countries that will survive this are those who are able to produce cheap, efficiently, and quickly to the market. And our plan is to make sure that we become a player in that space so that our cost becomes low and people will buy from us.
The 2024 appropriation bill, tagged the budget of renewed hope, laid before us by the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, is predicated on the oil benchmark of $77.86. And also, the output projection is 1,780 million barrels per day in terms of crude. And as you all are aware, there are a lot of uncertainty in the oil markets. The oil price is coming down and the benchmark is going up.
All right, let's bring you up to speed with the day's business news with Chamung Dabeng.
The National Pension Commission, PENCOM, says it has recovered 24.8 billion naira funds unremitted by employers in the third quarter of 2023. Chief Executive Officer of Pension Funds Operators Association of Nigeria, Oguchi Aguda, disclosed this in Lagos at a media parlay with the theme, "At the dawn of 20 years of pension reform, what are the gains?" Aguda said PENCOM recovered 23.3 billion naira of such funds in the third quarter of 2022, while it recovered 2.23 billion naira in the third quarter of 2021. He said also the pension industry recorded an asset under management of 17.35 trillion naira in the second quarter of 2023. PENCOM, according to Aguda, made investments of 349.97 billion naira in infrastructure in the second quarter of 2023, up from 333.02 billion naira invested in the corresponding quarter of 2022. Investments in infrastructure, he also said, represented 2.02% of total investments made in the second quarter of 2023. The presidency on Friday said oil giant Shell will invest $6 billion in Nigeria, especially in offshore gas and liquefied natural gas (LNG) projects. Nigeria, the continent's top economy and major oil producer, is seeking to attract more foreign investment since President Bola Ahmed Tinubu came to office in May with a raft of economic reforms. After meeting with Tinubu in Abuja, Shell representative Zoe Yunovich announced an imminent $5 billion investment in the Bonga North offshore project and commitments to another $1 billion over the next 5 to 10 years in gas and LNG, according to a presidency statement. President Tinubu said he was committed to overcoming roadblocks to investment for the energy sector. Nigeria has seen its oil output on the decline in the recent years due to widespread theft from pipelines and attacks and high operating costs deterring onshore investments. That's all for business news. I am Chamun Dabeng.
All right, to developments on the international scene now. A senior UN official has warned that half of Gaza's population is starving as fighting continues in the area. Carl Scow, the deputy director of the United Nations World Food Programme, said only a fraction of supplies needed have been able to enter the strip, and 9 out of 10 people cannot eat every day. Conditions in Gaza have made deliveries almost impossible, according to Scow. Now, Israel says it must continue airstrikes on Gaza to eliminate Hamas and bring Israeli hostages home. Movement in and out of Gaza has been heavily restricted since the October 7 attacks. The Hamas-run health ministry says Israel has killed more than 17,700 Gazans in its retaliatory campaign, including more than 7,000 children. Only the Rafah crossing bordering Egypt has been open, allowing limited quantities of aid to reach Gaza. This week, Israel agreed to open the Karim Shalom crossing from Israel into Gaza in the next few days, but only for the inspection of aid lorries. International pressure and a temporary 7-day ceasefire last month had allowed some badly needed aid to enter the Gaza Strip, but the World Food Programme insists a second border crossing is now needed to meet demand. Talking sports now, FIFA on Saturday confirmed the 3 bids to host the Women's World Cup in 2027 had been lodged across 3 confederations before the bidding process closed. From Europe comes a joint bid between Belgium, Netherlands and Germany, while Mexico and the United States also teamed up as they submitted another joint bid just before Friday's deadline. Brazil is the only country with a sole bid. According to FIFA, a statement, the body will now conduct a thorough evaluation process, including an on-site inspection visit that are due to get underway in February next year before publishing its findings in a bid evaluation report in May 2024. The final decision will be made through an open vote at the next FIFA Congress in Bangkok on May 17, 2024. South Africa had planned to bid but withdrew last month, with their federation referring to, quote, to present a well-prepared bid for 2031. The last Women's World Cup was co-hosted by Australia and New Zealand in July and August this year, while with Spain beating England to win the trophy. Let's get some more sports and join Adeni Ajishafe for the latest.
Muhammadu Buhari, Khalid Zubairu, who gets it is Awal. Look at that Awal.
Lovers of polo sport watched in admiration as the 15th edition of the National Carnival Polo Tournament kicked off at the Guards Polo Club of the Nigerian Army, Abuja. Players and their horses were in action to entertain guests waiting to watch one of the most celebrated sports in the world on day 1 of the tournament. It was all action between Dutch and Red Brick, with both teams squaring up to outscore each other. Dutch players got the better part of the game in a 5-3 win. Speaking on the event, the first Vice President Mustafa Junaid points out the culture behind polo and the essence of the sporting event.
This is the Carnival tournament we're having. It's the 15th edition. We are having it in the spirit of Carnival. We see polo as part of our culture now, especially the northern part of the country. Katsina, Kano, polo is deeply seated in the culture. This tournament is going to last 9 days, from 9th to 17th of December, and we have almost 30 teams playing from all over the country and international players. We have a couple of players that are here from Argentina, so it's going to be a very nice and thrilling tournament.
In another match, Quack Hall and BMS polo teams took on each other for survival of the fittest. Tournament manager Mukhtar Ad-Dahama called on Nigerians to embrace polo, adding that the 2023 event is special because it aims to create oneness through polo.
We are hosting our 2023 annual Carnival Polo tournament this year. We are looking forward to see more spectators within the week, and we know this year's tournament is exceptional from the previous tournaments that we always hold. This year's tournament is very glamour, very straightforward, and very amazing.
Action continues at the National Polo Carnival as clubs vie for honors in 4 major cups categories, namely President's Cup, Legislative Shield, FCT Ministers Cup, Gas Challenge Cup, in the 9-day polo event. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
And that's the size of our bulletin. Thank you most kindly for joining us. We do appreciate your time and company. From myself, Abdullahi Ahmed, and the rest of the team, thank you for watching the news, and good night.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.